I don't know about y'all, but I'm not really mad about that one last night. I'm not. We get 3 of 4 in that gauntlet over this last week. Steph coming in off like a 3-day bender, and he has to deal with that defense. Amen Thompson, who he's probably going to win a Defensive Player of the Year at some point. And I know the focus is on his athleticism and his physical attributes, but there's guys. He's a level 10 athlete. Make no mistake about it. I'm not going to say there's guys as athletic as him, but there are plenty of really good athletes in the league. They don't want to defend. Amen wants to defend. That's what sets him apart to go along with that athleticism. And he's one of the rare guys who doesn't have to top lock Steph and sell out. He can stay behind Steph, not allow the backdoor cuts, and then he gets through screens, and he's so physical and strong for that age. But you could tell Steph was tired too. Like on top of that, right? The handle was sloppy. He couldn't turn the corner on Şengün a couple times in the trap. And you understand why. So there's that, right? And then Draymond. Look, Draymond, he hasn't unraveled like that in a while, So hopefully he got it out of his system. This whole narrative of him and European big men, I don't know if it's kind of reality at this point. When you look at the facts and all the altercations, I think what it boils down to is these European bigs, they push back. Like, I think that typically the American players give Draymond a little more respect as an OG, and they're kind of like, yo, Draymond, chill. Like, all right, Draymond, like, and they just don't really engage. Where the Euro bigs, they're going to talk back, they're going to push back, and Draymond takes exception, and then things spiral. Now, I would have hoped that Jimmy or Steph or Looney could have stepped in before it got just out of hand there at the end of the half, right? It was too late. He'd reached a boiling point, and I almost tweeted it out, but I didn't want to just put it out. But I was like, well, he's not finishing this game. Like this has gone too far. And then Ime starts chirping at Steph. Like, listen, Ime gives big scumbag energy. I think we can all agree, right? He's a good coach, but he's a certified scumbag. And he's done this before. You know who the petty king is? Like, y'all may have won that last night. You better hope you don't see Steph in the playoffs after, just how it played out last night. But then the second half opens up after an ugly first half where it felt like we should have been down. But before I forget, because I do forget to mention this sometimes, Buddy played well, right? Let's give Buddy Love some love. And have you noticed it's a weird trend where if you get an off night from Steph, those are the nights Buddy tends to shoot and play better for some reason. And I guess it's a good thing to equal out, but I've noticed that. But, it's what? It's like a 3-point game at the half. Draymond makes that foul on, like, he let his emotions boil over, and then he never was able to dial back in, because sometimes that happens. And I remember as they're walking into the half and Ime, all that, I'm like, all right, maybe this charges them up. Maybe they just made a mistake, but we didn't have the fuel. We didn't have the gas, and Draymond never got focused back in the game. It took him out of the game. Then you get the flagrant foul on Şengün, where I know, the refs knew. He threw the ball at his face. Now, he did it completely within the lines of the game. There was no wind up. Like they flat out lied in the wording of the call, right? But I think everyone in the arena understood, yeah, he probably made sure that elbow connected on his nose, right? And here's the thing. Welcome to life, Draymond. Welcome to life. They tried you on plausible proof. Not the video, not what happened. They were just like, no, we know who you are. We know you tried to do that. It's almost like antagonizing a cop. It's the same thing. Like, you're going to antagonize the referees, and then you think they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt or an equal call. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. So he picks up his fifth, 2 minutes into that third quarter. It was like, all right, well, how are they going to respond now? You're a tired team. You've just come off a bunch of emotional wins. Steph ain't got it tonight. In this Houston team, are they're like top 3 defense, right? Oh yeah, and Dylan Brooks is 10 of 13. He's got 24 points. All in all, I liked how they responded. This Pod's leap looks very real. He continues to spray the block from three and be another scoring option. Kuminga, it was 50-50, right? The good, he continued to rebound. And I know that the mid-range pull-up shot is very controversial in today's game, but just specifically with Kuminga, if you watch, he's refining his pace in that mid-range. And he's getting there and he's changing pace and he's finding a rhythm there. I think that that's going to reemerge as a weapon for him. But then he had some turnovers, right? And look, no one was good with the ball. Part of that is Houston. But to me, and I said that in today's breakdown, I'll put the link in the description. It's a funny breakdown. I like this one. I like them all. But, like this conversation with Kuminga, for the most part, he knows what play to make. It's just, can he recognize and do it on time? And I don't got to remind you, 22, was he 23 yet? 22 years old. But I'd much rather have that than like James Wiseman or some of these other young guys we've seen where they're like, oh, they don't see it at all. They're making the wrong read. And I'm not saying he hasn't made wrong reads, but for the most part, he makes the right read. It's just not on time all the time. And so I just say that to say, like, don't give up on him as far as his basketball, feel and as it grows with experience. But he had a 50-50 game. But I thought there were silver linings. Weapon X, Agent Zorro, GP2 comes in, and they're playing that zone with those 3-6-11 guys. And he's a zone buster in his own unique way because he's so good at sneaking behind that baseline, and then he finishes so uniquely. Guys still don't know he's left-handed, but he just finishes so uniquely on the short roll and in that zone where it's usually guys in the short roll, right? If you're trapping Steph, or you're trapping a lead ball handler, that short roll guy is usually like this big wing. And GP2, he just knives and he takes off without a dribble. He does all these unique things. And so made a couple threes. He was looking good. And all in all, I just liked how the others responded last night, considering the situation and the opponent. Now, Houston, Shingun, I'm probably not saying his name right, but he's like the drunken master. I know that people like to call him Baby Jokic and all that. And you see some similarities, but he's like this drunken master style where it feels like he's always off balance. And I can't really tell if he is, and he's just really good at playing off balance, or he's not. But, he's a weapon. He's a pretty good player. I don't know if he's an all-star, but he's a good player. I think he does get a little too cute with the ball. He wants the style points as well. But Jalen Green is going to determine, how far they go in these playoffs. And you see that they're built for the playoffs in the sense of physicality. There was only like 26 foul shots last night. And their physicality and Ime, the culture he's built, it's built for the playoffs, but they don't really have the experience and they don't have a closer. Van Fleet's a big shot maker, but he's not a guy that you want creating his own shot down the stretch of games. Jalen Green is supposed to be that guy, and you're starting to see him finally slow down. No one in the league creates more separation than Jalen Green. Like in the half court, he will get to the rim untouched. So, in his earlier years, it almost worked against him. He'd have too much turbo, too much explosiveness, and he'd get out of control. And you're seeing him slow down now, and he put us away down the stretch. Again, 24 points from Dylan Brooks and an off Steph night. Draymond loses his shit. What do you expect? But I'm not too mad at the effort at all. And just like Kerr said post game, like I'm not even going to think about this. We on. I got to get some rest. We on to the next one. Underdog Fantasy. Before we talk about the next one here, great supporter of the channel. That's the thing. It blew my picks last night. I had Jabari Smith and I had Steph free throws. It was only 3.5 free throws. And then, he got hit from three on the three ball a couple times. So it is what it is. All I can do is make the smart pick and break even, but no, I've been winning more than I've been losing, but it's a great supporter of the channel. You can use the code Alchemy right now and get a 50% bonus on your first deposit up to 1,000 credits. And again, the link will be in the description. Do we have anything else about last night? Let me see here in my notes. No, it was ugly. It was ugly. In Houston is impressive. I think Jabari Smith is super crucial for them now that he's healthy because they lack shooting. And at 6'11", I think the six-man role fits him better. Now that they've put Amen into the starting lineup, he almost gets more opportunity as the sixth man, right? But okay, we flushed that one. I didn't think we were going to win it, and I thought we hung in better than we would have, considering everything that happened in the game. But now you've got this Phoenix, San Antonio back-to-back here. And I think it's super important that they don't make these games harder than they need to be. And I know it's the NBA and it's easier said than done, but you don't want to get caught in a dogfight in this back-to-back. You've got to look. It could be tied at the half. We know how these games go, but we don't want clutch minutes. That's how I'll put it. Suns, Spurs, we don't want clutch minutes. It can be close until the final 8 minutes, but then comfortably put them away. Hopefully blow one of them out, honestly, and you can get the young guys in there and get, under 30 minutes for the vets. That way, not only do you have the juice for a very feisty Portland Blazers team, you better believe Chauncey Billups is going to be trying to play spoiler, and they play really hard. That's their identity. But that looming final game of the regular season against the Clippers, where are we at 6 right now? I'm not even going to pretend to act like I know where it's going to fall and try to gauge, because it's all up in the air still. All the more reason for them to be motivated and don't play with their food when it's a lesser opponent at this point in the season. As always, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.